Emma made 12 bracelets. She gave 6 to her friends. How many bracelets does Emma have now? This is going to be our first mental math number talk. So in that story that I just read, what words tell you that we're going to add or subtract? If you said gave or have now, you are correct. Those words help us know that we are giving things away, so that means you're going to be taking away or subtracting. So if we are subtracting, we have to start with the biggest number. So 12 minus 6 equals what? If you said 6, you are correct. Let's look at the next problem. It says Gabe had 13 crayons. He gave 6 to his sister Selma. How many crayons does Gabe have now? What words would tell you that this would be a subtraction problem? Again, if you said gave and have now, you are correct. Below is your number model for subtracting. 13 minus 6 equals what? If you said 7, you are correct. Our last story says Marcus had 15 marbles. During a game, he lost some to his friend. Marcus now has 7 marbles. How many marbles did Marcus lose? Boys and girls, what do the words lost and lose tell you? Does that mean you're getting something or are you giving something away? Those would be giving something away. That's correct. So this is also a subtraction problem. 15 minus 7 equals what? If you said 8, you are correct. Yesterday we played the game of salute. And so this is a review. You see that the boy at the top, he is the dealer, and he looked at the cards on the girl and the boy's foreheads, and he told them that the sum was 11. So this little girl, her name is Emma, she's trying to figure out what card she has. So if she looks at the boy across from her, he has the number 8 on his forehead. So what card do you think Emma would have if we add 8 to another number to equal 11? If you said 3, you were correct. 8 plus 3 equals 11. All right. Today we will just demonstrate our understanding of 2 subtraction strategies by starting with a smaller number to count up and the bigger number to count back, because this is going to help us improve our speed and accuracy when we're solving subtraction facts. So by the end of 2nd grade, you should know how to write and solve problems using addition and subtraction. So tell your brain to check your work carefully, that you're not going to give up, and that you're going to use what you already know to help you solve these problems. Watch me model for you. In this problem, we see that we are going to have 11 minus 8. Now, I am going to actually use the counting up strategy. So when I am thinking of the counting up strategy, I have to start with a smaller number. So that is why I see the number 8 here. And when I count up, it's like an addition problem. So I'm going to think 8 plus what equals 11. Do you see how I turned this problem around? I used my fact family to help me put this into an addition problem. I'm going to start with a smaller number 8. So I'm going to find that on my number line. I'm going to circle the number 8. And I'm going to stop when I land on the number 11, okay? So I'm going to record my counting by drawing the hops on the number line. So there is 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to fill in 3. All right. Now we are going to think subtraction. All right. So when I'm thinking subtraction, I start with the larger number, and I'm going to count back. So that's why the problem stayed the same as up here at the top. I'm going to start with 11 this time and circle that on my number line. And I'm going to count back down to the number 8, counting my hops. I'm going to show you by drawing it on the line. There's 1, 2, 3. I got the same answer. That means these are fact families. Okay. All right. So we know that when we are given a subtraction problem, we have two choices. We can think addition or we can think subtraction. Okay, we're going to do thinking addition first. So 9, instead of saying 9 minus 7, we're turning it into an addition problem and thinking 7 plus what would equal 9. So when you think addition, you're going to think of the smaller number and count up. So my smaller number is 7. So what should I do on my number line? I should circle the 7. And how do I know where to stop? Yes, we should stop at the bigger number. So let's count how many hops that would be to land on 9. Count with me. 1, 2. All right, so 2 is my answer. All right. Now let's go ahead and think subtraction. This one, you're going to keep it the same. All right. So when you're thinking subtraction, you're going to think of a bigger number and count back. So which one is the bigger number? It is 9. So we are going to circle 9. And how do I know where to stop? Right, we're going to stop on the smaller number 7. So let's count the hops together. Ready? 1, 2. We got the same answer. All right, let's do another problem together. This one we're going to do 15 minus 12. Okay, you know there's two ways that you can solve this. You can think addition or you can think subtraction. If we're going to think addition, thinking of our fact family can help us out. So we're going to switch these numbers around, and we should think 12 plus what equals 15. Where would I start on my number line if I'm thinking of addition? You're right, you need to think of the smaller number and count up. So our smaller number is 12. So let's go ahead and circle the number 12. And where do we stop? At 15. So count your hops with me. 1, 2, 3. And we stop because there's the 15. So that answer is 3. So now let's think subtraction. We have 15 minus 12 as the original problem. And when we think subtraction, where do we start? You're right, we start with the bigger number so that we can take away the smaller number. We're counting backwards. So we're going to circle 15 on the number line. Where do we stop? We stop at the number 12. So let's count our hops together. 1, 2, 3, stop, because there's the 12. So that is also 3. Let's do one more example together. This one is 18 minus 3. The first way that we can think about this is addition. So when you think addition, what does it say we need to do? Right, we need to think of the smaller number and count up. So the smaller number is 3. And where are you going to stop? On the number 18. All right, so count with me. We're going to stop at 18. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. All right, so the answer is 15 hops. All right, now let's do the other way and think subtraction. You can leave it the way it is. And when we're thinking subtraction, how do you do that? What should we think? You're right. Here it says to think of the bigger number and count back. So the bigger number is 18. So I would circle 18. And we're going to stop on what number? 3, yes. So let's count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We need to stop because we're on the 3. We also got 15. Now it is your turn. You have been given this paper, and you need to show how to, on the top one, think addition. So you're going to start with the number 2 and count your hops to 13 on this number line. So you're starting with a smaller number and counting up. And then for the second one, you're going to think subtraction. So you're going to think of the bigger number and count back. So the bigger number is 13, and you're going to hop down to the number 2. Okay, so keep track and count the number of hops for both problems and write it on the blank line. When you're finished, I want you to think about this question or these questions. Which strategy is easier for you, counting up or counting back? Why do you think that is easier for you? Also, when would it be easier to use the counting back strategy to subtract? Or when is it easier to use the counting up strategy to subtract? Well, for me, boys and girls, I like to use the counting back strategy when the numbers are smaller. But if my numbers are larger, I like to use the counting up strategy. It's just easier for me to keep track of what I'm doing.